Imagine you are going with your family or friends, and while walking, you mistakenly take a wrong turn into a street. After a while, you feel that for the past 1 hour you have been walking in circles at the same place, unable to find the way out. So, in the same way, I am going to tell you a story. This is the very first story of Herderd Stories channel. This is the beginning of a journey of stories. For more stories, subscribe to the channel and give us your support. The story begins with a mysterious small town, surrounded by forests and endless roads. At first glance, it looks like an ordinary old town, but soon we realize it hides a terrifying secret. No one who enters this town can ever escape. We are introduced to Sheriff Boyd, the man responsible for keeping order in the town. He is strict, calm, and knows the dangers that come at night. During the day, the town looks normal. Children play, people talk, and life seems peaceful. But as the sun sets, fear spreads across every face. At night, horrifying creatures appear. They look like humans from the outside, but they are not human at all. They smile strangely, speak politely, and then when they get close, they turn violent and brutally kill anyone they find. The only way to stay alive is to hide inside the houses, close every door and window, and protect them with strange talismans. These talismans keep the monsters out, but no one knows how or why they work. On this very day, a new family enters the town. Jim Matthews, his wife Tabitha, and their children Ethan and Julie. They were traveling in their RV, but after taking a wrong turn, they find themselves trapped on the endless road that always leads back to the town. At first, they think it is just bad luck, but soon they realize they are stuck, just like everyone else. Sheriff Boyd warns them about the nightfall. The family doesn't believe him until they witness the horror themselves. They hear the monsters outside the window, softly calling their names, pretending to be friendly. The fear is unbearable, but the talisman saves them for the first night. Meanwhile, other townsfolk are also shown. Kenny, the young deputy. Donna, a tough woman who runs a survival group outside the town. Father Kotri, a priest who believes there is a spiritual meaning behind everything. And Sarah, a troubled woman who seems to hear strange voices. By the end of episode 1, the Matthews family understands one thing. This is not just a small town, it is a trap, and no one knows how to escape. The Matthews family, trying to understand the terrifying events of the first night, they survived, but fear is still in their eyes. Jim and Tabitha can hardly believe what they saw. Monsters that looked like humans, knocking on their windows, whispering their names. Ethan, the young boy, is traumatized but curious. Julie, the teenage daughter, feels trapped and angry. Sheriff Boyd steps in as their guide. He explains the basic rule of survival. When the sun goes down, you hide. You don't talk to anyone outside, no matter how familiar their voice sounds. And you never ever go out after dark. His words are harsh but necessary. The family realizes this is not a nightmare. This is their new reality. Meanwhile, we see more of the townsfolk. Kenny, the loyal deputy, tries to comfort the newcomers. He is young but deeply respects Boyd and believes in following the rules. Father Kotri, the priest, speaks with Tabitha, telling her that perhaps they were brought here for a reason. His faith gives him strength, but it also makes others suspicious. Is there really a higher purpose? Or is this just hell on earth? At Colony House, a large building outside the main town, we meet Donna and her group. Unlike the townspeople who live in fear, Donna's group tries to embrace freedom. They grow their own food, play music, and live by their own rules. But even they must hide at night. Donna is strong, practical, and not afraid to make difficult decisions. She welcomes the Matthews family, but warns them. This place doesn't care about you. If you want to survive, you'll have to decide what you're willing to do. Throughout the episode, Jim struggles with denial. He believes there must be a logical explanation, maybe a government experiment, maybe some kind of trick. He even tries to drive away again, only to find that every road leads back to the town. No matter which direction he takes, the same tree, the same path, the same place appears again and again. It is like being trapped in a loop. The horror returns at night. This time, we see what happens to people who break the rules. A careless resident forgets to close a window, thinking the creatures outside are his relatives. He opens the door and the monsters brutally kill him. The scene is shocking and clear. There are no second chances here. The Matthews family watches in horror. Their hope of this being a dream fades completely. Now, they must accept the truth. They are stuck in a town where monsters come at night. And no one has ever escaped. By the end of episode 2, tension rises. The family is divided. Jim wants to find answers. Tabitha wants to protect her children. Julie wants to escape. And Ethan still believes there must be a way out. Sheriff Boyd reminds them, "We don't have to like it. We just have to survive it." The episode closes with the eerie sound of monsters outside, their polite but deadly voices echoing through the night. The townspeople bury the man who was killed because he opened his door to the monsters. The funeral is simple but heavy with emotion. Father Cautry leads the prayer, reminding everyone that they must hold on to faith. Sheriff Boyd, however, looks more practical than spiritual. He knows faith won't stop the monsters. The Matthews family struggles to adjust. Tabitha tries to comfort Ethan, who is still shaken by the sight of death. Julie becomes rebellious and angry, refusing to accept the rules. Jim, desperate for answers, begins asking more questions about how the town works, about the talismans, and about the strange loop of roads. He wants logic and science. But the townsfolk only give him fear and survival stories. We also learn more about Sarah, a troubled woman who hears strange voices in her head. The voices tell her disturbing things, sometimes about the monsters, sometimes about people in the town. Sarah hides her secret, afraid others will think she is insane. But the audience can see that the voices are very real and dangerous. At Colony House, Donna shows the Matthews family how they live. The people there are more free: music, food, laughter, but underneath the surface is sadness and despair. Everyone here has lost someone to the town. Julie feels drawn to this community. Unlike her parents, she doesn't want strict rules. She wants to feel alive. This causes tension between her and Tabitha. Sheriff Boyd investigates the forest. He believes there may be a way to understand the town if he studies its patterns. Kenny joins him, though he is afraid. They find more evidence of past victims, strange symbols carved into trees, abandoned belongings, and bloodstains that tell silent stories of horror. As night falls, fear rises again. The Matthews family secures their home, placing talismans carefully on the doors and windows. Sheriff Boyd warns them once more, do not speak to them. Do not answer the door. That night, the monsters come. They approach a young boy's house, calling softly in the voice of his grandmother. The boy begins to cry, believing it is really her. His parents struggle to hold him back. The scene is full of tension, the sweet, gentle voice outside, the terror inside, the scratching at the windows. Finally, the monsters leave when they realize the family will not open the door. Meanwhile, Sarah experiences a frightening vision. The voices in her head tell her something shocking. Blood must be spilled. If you want to save everyone, you must do what we say. Her eyes fill with tears as she realizes the voices want her to hurt people. The episode ends with Sarah whispering, "Please, don't make me do this." The screen fades to black, leaving us with the chilling sound of monsters laughing in the distance. People are beginning to argue about leadership. Sheriff Boyd keeps enforcing strict survival rules, but some townsfolk complain that his way is too harsh. They want more freedom, like the people at Colony House. Meanwhile, Jim tries to study the talismans. He believes there is a scientific reason why they keep the monsters away. He sketches them, examines the carvings, and thinks maybe they create a frequency or energy field. His wife Tabitha supports him, but others warn him not to interfere. At Colony House, Julie feels more at home. She spends time with the younger residents, who distract themselves, with parties and music to forget the fear. Donna, the leader, warns Julie, "This place can make you feel safe. But don't ever forget, it's not safe at all." Sarah's storyline grows darker. The voices whisper to her again, commanding her to hurt someone. She resists, but the pressure builds. In a chilling scene, she almost harms her own brother, but stops at the last moment. The audience begins to wonder, are the voices connected to the town itself? Night falls. This time, we witness how cunning the monsters can be. They don't just attack blindly, they manipulate emotions. One appears as a crying child begging for help. Another pretends to be a lost parent. People must cover their ears just to avoid temptation. In the end, Boyd makes a strong announcement. Survival depends on discipline. If people break the rules, everyone will die. The town reluctantly agrees, but rebellion still grows beneath the surface. The morning begins with chaos. A food shortage hits the town. Supplies are limited and people start fighting over resources. Donna at Colony House says her group must be self-reliant, while Boyd insists on sharing. The conflict grows, creating cracks between the two communities. Jim, still obsessed with solving the mystery, notices something strange about the forest. He marks trees with symbols, but when he walks further, the same tree appears again and again. The loop is undeniable. This place is designed to trap them. Tabitha tries to hold the family together. Ethan begins to have strange dreams about the forest. He draws pictures of tall trees and shadowy figures. His parents think it's trauma, but the drawings seem eerily connected to the truth of the town. Sarah's story takes a shocking turn. The voices demand that she kill the little boy, Ethan. She panics and breaks down, realizing she is being pushed toward an unforgivable act. She prays for strength, but the voices only laugh. At night, the monsters grow more violent. They scratch walls, break windows, and test the talismans. One scene shows a monster staring directly through the glass, smiling endlessly as if it knows the humans are only delaying the inevitable. The episode ends with Sarah trembling in fear, whispering, "Why me? Why are you telling me to do this?" The voices answer in her mind, "Because you're the only one who can." Tensions explode between Boyd and Donna. Boyd wants unity, Donna wants independence. The two leaders argue, but both know survival requires cooperation. Still, mistrust deepens. Jim attempts to build a device to test the talisman's power. He wires equipment together, trying to measure energy. The experiment fails, but he remains determined. Tabitha warns him, "If you keep chasing answers, you'll lose sight of keeping us alive." Sarah finally gives in to the voices. In a horrifying scene, she lures Ethan into danger. But at the last second, her brother arrives and stops her. Shocked and ashamed, Sarah admits she hears voices. Now the secret is out. The townsfolk react with fear and anger, believing she is cursed or dangerous. Meanwhile, Boyd explores deeper into the forest. He discovers strange markers, almost like ancient ruins. He suspects that the town's curse is not random, but connected to something far older. Night once again brings terror. The monsters gather in greater numbers than before. They seem stronger, smarter, hungrier. The Matthews family hides, clutching each other as shadows move outside. The episode ends with Boyd whispering to Kenny, "If we don't find answers soon, this place will eat us alive." The episode begins with the town divided. After Sarah's secret is revealed, people are furious. Some believe she is cursed, others think she is dangerous and should be punished. Boyd tries to keep order, but fear spreads like fire. Sarah herself is terrified. She doesn't want to hurt anyone, yet the voices grow louder, demanding sacrifice. Meanwhile, Jim refuses to give up his search for answers. He starts building a radio tower with the hope of sending a signal outside the town. He believes if he can contact the outside world, maybe someone will come to help. Tabitha supports him, but warns that his obsession could put them all in danger. At Colony House, tension also rises. Julie becomes more attached to the people there, especially a boy named Ellis, who happens to be Boyd's estranged son. Their relationship brings family conflict. Boyd and Julie argue, with Boyd telling her, "This place is not a playground. Every choice you make can get you killed." As night falls, the monsters grow stranger. This time they don't only knock or whisper, they laugh. Their laughter echoes across the houses, cold and unsettling. One even sings a children's lullaby, sending shivers through everyone hiding inside. Sarah has another terrifying vision. The voices show her images of blood, death, and destruction. They whisper, "Do this or everyone will die." She collapses, crying. By the end of the episode, Sarah realizes she cannot resist them forever. The story shifts toward Boyd and Kenny as they continue exploring the forest. They find an abandoned carriage filled with rotting supplies and strange markings, suggesting others may have been trapped here long before them. The discovery proves that the town's curse is ancient. Boyd is ready to leave on his dangerous mission into the forest. He believes if he doesn't search for answers, everyone will eventually die. Kenny joins him despite his fear, proving his loyalty. The Matthews family is torn apart by fear. Jim blames himself for contacting the strange voice. Tabitha tries to keep the children safe, but Julie resists, wanting to stay at Colony House with Ellis. Ethan, still haunted by his dreams, draws pictures of towers, trees, and creatures no one has ever seen before. Before Boyd leaves, he speaks to Sarah one last time. She begs him to believe her, that the voices are real and that more blood will come. Boyd doesn't know if she is insane or chosen, but he knows she holds part of the truth. Boyd and Kenny set out into the forest. As they go deeper, the trees seem endless, twisting, alive. Strange sounds echo. Suddenly, Boyd realizes they are not alone. Something is watching them. Back in town, Jim's radio experiment reaches its climax. The voice returns, whispering, "You shouldn't be here. None of you should be here." Static erupts and the tower collapses. The Matthews family is left terrified. Was it a warning or a threat? Night falls with a storm. The monsters swarm the houses, more violent than ever. They scratch, laugh, and sing in haunting voices. People scream, clutching talismans, praying for dawn. In the forest, Boyd and Kenny are attacked by something unseen. They run for their lives, stumbling into a strange underground chamber. Inside, Boyd finds markings on the walls, the same symbols as the talismans. His eyes widen. The truth may be here, but so is the danger.